Dad's name's Vitor. He was born in East Timor, grew up there in a big family, and so when he was growing up, there was a war going on with Indonesia, so he had to flee the country, I guess for his own safety and well-being. So Mum was born in Taiwan. Her name's Faye. They had a daughter who's my older sister, Penny. They came to Australia in 1985. They said they found settling in really well and just found Australia to be really welcoming and I guess really friendly. So when I was growing up in the eastern suburbs, I guess it felt I guess a bit more familiar with a lot of diverse faces and a lot of people from different cultural backgrounds. To myself, I knew everyone kind of came from a different place, and so it was a lot easier kind of growing up, I suppose, in areas where different cultures have migrated to. Growing up, I was always pretty keen on sports. Whatever, if there was any ball involved, I'd be pretty keen to play. So I started playing local football, suburban football, around 2006. In under 15s, I was pretty much the only person, with an Asian background, I suppose, playing. So in that sense, it was a little bit tough to transition into playing. Once you get to know people and once people get to know you, you break down those barriers and people get to understand, who you really are and vice versa. And then to start playing and join the team, I think because it's so big with Australian culture, I guess it's another part of it is another sense of belonging. And then as that progressed along, I guess I started playing in, a high standard of football where, I was able to play TAC footy. So that was in under 18s. So that was in 2011. Through playing TAC, I was able to play well enough and then be drafted by the Western Bulldogs, which was in 2012. So that was in the rookie draft. I guess, been lucky enough to make my debut as well in 2012. I think it was round 20 against the Richmond Tigers. And I think I've played 39 games ever since, and been lucky enough to play in two VFL premierships as well. When I was walking into the change rooms for my first game, one of the guys from the club handed me a letter and said, this is for you, and I wasn't sure what it was. And so it was a letter from the Prime Minister of East Timor, Janana Guzmão, and just kind of congratulating me and giving a brief background on what it is to be, I guess, from East Timor and having a Timorese background and what the country stands for and its values, which really, I guess, resonated with me. And so to walk in and get that before playing my first game, obviously there was a lot of things on my mind, but that was a really big moment. And I know Dad, coming from East Timor, was really was pretty proud. Not only to play my first game, but I guess to be recognised by the Prime Minister and the country was really big moment for him and myself. I think I got a lot of attention because of my background. When to me, all I kind of wanted to do was make a name for myself and just play football. I was kind of found it a bit difficult with people always wanting to ask about my background and what I think about this and that, when I just kind of saw myself as just any other player, just trying to find his way. For the Western Bulldogs, the culture, I guess, being so close to Footscray in its, and so close to the town and the western suburbs, it's a really community-based club. We always kind of, out and about in the western suburbs, whether we're doing kind of primary school visits or the club's doing community-based engagements. So I guess in that sense the club's really passionate about being involved in the community. In 2016, I guess following from 2015 where we lost in the first final, everyone kind of used that, I guess, as a bit of motivation coming back into 2016. For myself, I got injured in our first final as well. So it was a bit of an up and down season throughout the year, but then coming into the finals, I guess we just got all this momentum and everything just kind of gelled so well, everything worked out so well. And I guess missing out on the grand final was it was a lot of mixed emotions. It's hard to describe. I'm because you're still part of it, but in a sense, you know, you're not playing. But yeah, I guess for me, after breaking the collarbone, I guess I thought you know, the season was over, but you know, I still managed to be involved in a VFL Premiership, which, you know, when you put things into perspective, is really special. So I guess being an AFL player from a different cultural background, and being a multicultural ambassador is, you know, something really special for me. I think about it sometimes as when I was growing up, and you know, kids seeing themselves in players out on the field. So yeah, for me, as I said, I didn't really have that and didn't see myself in anyone else playing. And so I guess now, you know, I hope that, you know, kids might be able to see me and see themselves in me, and you know, even if that means they feel more comfortable in playing football, or even as a fan feel more comfortable watching and seeing themselves out there. I guess in a sense where if I can do it, then they can, and you know, I guess seeing myself in that sense as a role model, and I guess, you know, thinking I'm making a difference in someone else's, I guess, football journey. You know, that's the biggest thing for me, and why I'm so passionate about being a multicultural ambassador.